Yo, DJ Rainier here. Thank you for tuning in. This video will be about the Jackery or any other portable power unit and why you need it, in the sense of not that you can't live without it, but more so that it will open up a lot of opportunities for you and there's a lot of benefits to having one. So if you're on the fence about getting one, if you're thinking about getting one, this should help you make a better decision. So I purchased the Jackery. Number one, I purchased the Jackery because a lot of other DJs and other YouTubers are using it, have used it in the past, and it's been kind of tried and true. And I don't hear a lot of complaints about it. And I've had this one, I believe, now for a year, and I haven't had any issues with it, knock on wood. So that's what I went with. But, if you go with a Blue Eddy or a DJI brand or EcoFlow, any of those, you're in good shape too. This isn't so much about like, hey, you have to get a Jackery. More so, hey, why do I need one? So I purchased it because I had a situation where there was a particular venue that I was doing some work at, and their ceremony setup, the power was really, really far away. It was technically 100 feet away. And they did provide a power cord, but you have to, unravel it, set it up, set your ceremony setup. After ceremony's over, I'm in Florida. It doesn't matter what time of the year. It's pretty hot outside. So now I'm, dressed pretty nice. I'm trying to pack up ceremony, and the last thing I have to do is sit there and roll up properly, out of respect to the venue, their 100-foot cable, and make sure I'm not getting it like near my clothing and stuff like that. So is it a big deal? Not really, but there are multiple steps to bringing that cord, wrapping it, and putting it back where it goes. And this allowed me to just wheel it out with the equipment I was bringing to ceremony, plug the speaker right into it, and I was good to go. Now, I know lately there are more options for better quality battery-powered speakers, but at this particular venue, the bride and groom and the wedding party, where they have to walk and start from to the actual ceremony area, is pretty far. So if you had like a Bose S1, which I have, you're not really doing, you're doing yourself an injustice by not having something a little more powerful. So I actually run like a full-size speaker on this unit during ceremony. And yeah, it saved me a lot of time. Once ceremony's over, I unplug really quickly, like the short cable down to the Jackery, and then boom, I'm done. The other benefit I've had and other situations that I've had is I've had a venue lose power, and this has been super, super helpful in that type of situation because I was able to power one speaker at the moment. The venue did let me know that they would have power up and running within about 5 minutes because of a backup system. So I just hooked up one of my speakers. I hooked up a wired microphone to that speaker, and I made the announcement, hey, we've lost power. As you see, it's raining outside. We've lost power. The venue will have it back up and running, but for now, let's continue jamming. And this was during party time, which, to get into even more specifics, people didn't really realize what was happening because we had a lot of the lights off during party time, but my uplighting and my Astera tubes were on. So the music cut off, but the lighting was still on. So some people didn't even know the power went out. So by having the Jackery there, I was able to power the speaker, get on the microphone and say, hey, we've lost power. The lighting you see is my battery powered stuff. But we will have power back on. But for now, let's continue, with some music. And I went ahead and just hooked up the iPad to it, played like one song, and then boom, the venue had it back up. But it was nice to be able to kind of make that announcement and not so much save the day, because it was only really like maybe like a solid 5 minutes without power. But it was still nice to have that option, in case I'm at a venue that doesn't have a backup system in place. I could literally power my full setup, maybe one speaker versus two, but I would just do all two. And this does power a lot of stuff for a long period of time. Some of you may not know this, but our speakers really don't pull that much power. I believe my 12s at like war volume are at like 2.5 amps. So that's like 250 watts. When I had one of my speakers, and I'll do a whole video on this, but when I had one of my speakers hooked up to the Jackery at almost war volume, it said it would run for like, I don't know, I think it said like 8 to 10 hours. So it does tell you, here, like here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me move it over. It does tell you, like here, you're at 100% output, 0 watts. Once you start hooking things up to this and running it, it'll tell you like a estimated time of how long it's gonna last. So that's pretty cool. I'll do a whole nother video on that. But just recently, I did have a situation where power was an issue at this particular venue, and we brought a lot of stuff. It was a Sweet 16. We brought 6 moving heads, 2 lasers, 2 18-inch subwoofers, and 2 15-inch tops. Now, we did spread that out under different circuits, but the venue owner thought we were on X amount of circuits, and come to find out, part of our equipment was actually on a circuit with an ice machine. So we found that out the hard way before the before the event. So that was cool. But he literally had to move the ice machine to a different circuit. We thought we were on our own dedicated circuit. We realized that he wasn't really 100% sure which circuits were on, which outlets were on each circuit. So we got everything up and running, and then we realized, oh, there's going to be a photo booth coming. So here's another benefit that I've had by having the Jackery. When the photo booth guy got there, I explained to him what was going on, and I said, look, if you don't mind, please plug into the Jackery. It's going to power your photo booth, your printer, your Aircast, and your hotspot, your Wi-Fi hotspot for the entire run. It was a 5-hour gig. He started it right up at 5 o'clock. It was from 5 to 10. At the end of those 5 hours, the Jackery said 54%. So he was able to run the photo booth, the printer for it, the Aircast Pro, and a hotspot for 5 solid hours without a problem, and only used half of this. This one I got on sale. This is the 1000, Jackery Explorer 1000. I got it on sale, like I said, a year ago. They're actually less expensive now, but I think I paid like 6 something for it. And it's been so beneficial, so helpful. There'll be situations where I'll have to run a full-size speaker, and where I want to put it, there's not power, and to run a cable and put the gaff tape, it's easier just to throw this on, and then you're done. And you won't know how convenient it is until you have it, but once you have it, you'll be like, oh my God, this is really nice. It opens me up to different options that I didn't have prior to this. I did purchase the bag as well. It does seem like it's waterproof because of the way the zipper looks when it's closed. As you can see, like you can barely see even the zipper. But I will say, and this is the official bag, I will say that I had to kind of modify it, just like we have to sometimes do with a lot of other equipment. But I had to add, sorry, this thing's like not staying open. I had to add foam pieces. I think one of these is like from some Cold Spark units that I had, but I do line it with some extra padding, just to give it that extra protection. You know, when it's in the car, if I take a turn and a speaker's leaning into it, it's not like leaning right on the screen or anything. There is some padding in here. There is some, but for me, it's not enough. I like to have a little bit of extra padding. But any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you, as soon as I can. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you for tuning in, and take care.